What's up, guys? Brett Appley here from DailyFanMMA.com, back with another UFC Quick Picks here on the Mayo Media Network. It's the start of the 2023 UFC season. This weekend, we have Sean Strickland back in the main event versus Imavov in UFC Vegas 67. Hope you guys had a good break. We're going to be giving you my favorite cash game play, tournament play, salary play, and a matchup of the week here from a DraftKings perspective. Before I get into those, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know. Why don't you just comment below who's winning the main event? We got a pick'em here, close to a pick'em between Imavov and Strickland. I think it's going to be a fun one, and always curious to hear your guys' opinions. All right, without further ado, let's get into my cash game play of the week, which is going to be Dan Argueta at 8.6K. All right, we're going to roll with Argueta here from a pure value perspective in cash games. He is minus 600 to beat Nick Aguirre, who's coming in on short notice. And Argueta is only priced at 8.6K. As mentioned, he's just a massive value. And not only is he a heavy favorite to win, he's quite likely to win inside the distance at minus 160. So Argueta rates out very, very well. Among the very best plays on this entire slate. And in cash games, I think we just lock him in. You know the drill for cash games. I'm not going to give you any of this sneaky stuff. We got to play the best plays here. And I think Argueta definitely rates out as one of the best plays. I will say that I'm not like so confident Argueta wins this fight. You know, he lost on The Ultimate Fighter. He lost in his UFC debut. He had some kind of defensive grappling issues in both of those fights, and he really still does need to prove himself. And Aguirre has some grappling ability, and I wouldn't be stunned if Aguirre fought competitively and had success on the ground. But from a cash game perspective, we have to just look at this more based on the numbers, where again, Argueta is minus 600 to win, minus 160 to win inside the distance. A capable wrestler against an opponent who just hasn't really fought good competition, coming in on short notice. It's a good spot for Argueta and a very good price. So 8.6K, cash game lock in my opinion. In large field tournaments though, if you like some of the other chalk on this card, like let's say you like the main event, or you like the Umar Nurmagomedov types at the top, or you're going to be on this Al Hassan Ribeiro fight, which should be popular in the mid-range. If you need a place to kind of pivot away, I don't think you have to play Argueta in tournaments by any stretch. There are guys surrounding him in his price tag who have a lot of upside, one who I'll mention next. And I think it's very possible that Argueta wins, looks good, scores in the low 90s or something like that, and just isn't optimal because someone outscores him in this same range. So don't be afraid to make pivots in tournaments if necessary, as I expect Argueta to be among the highest owned fighters on this entire slate in all formats. All right, moving on to my tournament play of the week. I'm going to give out Punahele Soriano at 8.5K, priced $100 below Argueta. And I'm not considering Soriano a lock either, but I think he has reasonable upside in this matchup against Roman Kopylov, who Kopylov is a good striker, technical, accurate, but he just doesn't throw a ton of volume. And I mean, he's fought 3 times in the UFC. His high in strikes is 59. He won by knockout against Alessio Di Chirico in round 3 in his last fight. And he could win that sort of a similar way against Soriano. I just don't really think his chances of winning by knockout are that high. Soriano is tough and durable and a much better wrestler too. And I think, both sides could win a competitive striking affair. But I lean pretty heavily towards Soriano in terms of having real impact on a moment basis. Like Soriano is very, very powerful. He could absolutely hurt Kopylov. And Kopylov, was submitted by Karl Roberson, and he did not look on the ground versus Duraev. There's no guarantee that Soriano even tries to wrestle. He averages 1.02 takedowns per 15 minutes. But I do think it's an additional path to victory for him, and a path that could lead to a win inside the distance. And Soriano is plus 140 to win inside the distance. Again, there's bust risk here. It's a tournament play, but I do like the boom potential enough that I'm willing to take chances on Soriano, especially as he's priced right next to Argueta. If Argueta didn't exist, or if Argueta was minus 170 to win, a lot of ownership would come in on Soriano. But I think Argetta will be kind of a lightning rod in that range and soak up a lot of ownership. I do like a pivot to Soriano for upside purposes. I think he has finishing potential in this matchup. All right, moving on to my salary play of the week. I am going to go back to the main event. I'm going to give out Sean Strickland here at 7.7K. Doesn't mean that I'm so confident he's going to win either, but he's a little bit mispriced here as a plus 108 underdog, and I've seen him, essentially pick him in spots against Imavov. He's taking this fight on short notice at 205 pounds because he couldn't cut weight down to 185. But Strickland has experience in main events, and Imavov does not. And Strickland actually fought in the last main event of 2022, lost a tight decision to Jared Cannonier, landed 152 significant strikes. He kind of fights in sparring mode, but he throws strikes at a very high volume. He does have grappling that he can use at times, and he's durable and he has decent cardio, where Imavov, another sort of accurate technical striker, his numbers look good. 4.08 significant strikes landed per minute, 2.43 absorbed. It's just he got really, really tired in his last fight against Joaquin Buckley in round 3, and he lost that third round. And yeah, if he goes out there and knocks Strickland out or has success early, won't be stunned. But the longer this fight goes, the more I think it favors Strickland. From a DraftKings perspective at 7.7K, I'm willing to play Strickland as a salary option. There just aren't a ton of underdogs that I love on this slate, and Strickland saves salary, and you get main event exposure at the same. He is plus 225 to win inside the distance, so there's finishing upside as well. I think he's just a decent option. He'll probably be pretty heavily owned in tournaments as well and cash game. So if you want to get contrarian, you can just move off the main event entirely. But I like Strickland. If you want to save salary, I think he's a decent option at 7.7K. And finally, matchup of the week, I'm going to give out Sijara Eubanks versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Eubanks is 8.8K, Cachoeira 7.4K. This is the first fight of the night. I think the winner projects to score quite well. Minus 200 line for it to end inside the distance. Eubanks is a wrestler, and she can be a dominant one at that. She averages 1.9 takedowns per 15 minutes. Decent ground and pound, black belt in jiu-jitsu against Cachoeira, who's just not very good, really, at anything. Poor striking defense, takedown defense 66%. She can give up takedowns, she can give up position. So if Sijara Eubanks wins, I do think it probably comes from takedowns, control, ground and pound, and potentially a finish. And she's also plus 140 to win inside the distance. So at 8.8K, I think she's a strong option. She's lost 3 of her last 4 fights, so I don't think the public will be so excited to play her. And she rates out well for tournaments, in my opinion. Whereas if she loses, which she might, because she does have risks, including cardio risks, I think Cachoeira wins inside the distance. Like, Cachoeira is going to get held down, but she's going to keep fighting hard. And at some point, it's possible that she can break Eubanks, hurt her, and find a finish. And Cachoeira is plus 235 to win inside the distance. Decent line for 7.4K. And yeah, I'm not going to be so heavy on Cachoeira because I don't think she's going to win this fight. But I do acknowledge her knockout upside. I like her price. I like the stylistic matchup of this fight as a whole. And I think it's a good matchup to target from a DraftKings perspective. All right, guys, that's it for this UFC Quick Picks. Thank you again for the support. You can follow me on Twitter, Brett Appley, _T_P. We just posted like an hour and 45-minute full fight breakdown video with my guys Gordo and Luke on the Daily Fan MMA site. So if you're all inclined, full breakdowns available there as well. All the information you could need from a DraftKings perspective. Best of luck in your contest this week, guys. Take care. Stay safe. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.